Hi guys, welcome to our latest vlog instalments with all your updates from behind the scenes here at Grace's Rest. You'll probably notice my not so subtle thank you behind us. Here is the brand new display board. As promised, I have been so excited to show this to you guys. It's so big I can't even get it all in screen at once. If I just very gently move the camera, you can see that it's right up there. It's really tall. I mean, this thing has got to be over 7 foot tall. I've not actually measured it, but it only just fits inside our gazebo, height-wise, put it that way. We decorated it with all sorts of garlands and flowers and ferns and all sorts. We've got photographs on there of so many of the animals that we've rescued. We can't physically fit them all on there, but we've got a good representation. We've got all of our motives, our campaign goals, you name it, it's on there. It's absolutely fantastic. It was an expensive purchase, but it's an educational resource, and as long as we look after it, we will have this thing for years to come, and it's going to be such a great investment. Put it this way, we've taken it to 2 events so far, and it's just about paid for itself in 2 events, and these were 2 with the greatest of respect, there are 2 quite small events. You know, we're not talking about a big festival or anything like that. It was 2 very small local events, and the impact that this has had and the interest it's generated from people has been absolutely phenomenal. So thank you to everyone who has donated so that we can buy this thing, but also who have supported me in getting all the printed materials ready, who have sent me posters, particularly you can see there's a West Midlands Vegan Festival one, so thank you very much to Kev for sending that over for me. And thank you to everybody that's put up with me being grumpy while I typed all this stuff up and printed it and laminated it and got it all ready. Thank you very much. Right then, so moving swiftly on. As promised, this week I want to tell you a little bit about my PhD. Now, unfortunately, it's still up in the air a little bit at the moment. We haven't had a final offer for funding yet, but when it happens, you guys are going to know about it. I think the whole world's going to know about it. I'm going to be up on the roof screaming it for everybody to hear. But the staff at the university don't think they're getting funding for this is going to be an issue at all, because it's the project, if I can do this and do it successfully, it's going to potentially have global level impact on wildlife trade. So people are going to be keen to support and to sponsor me to do this. The general theme of the project will be examining reptile and amphibian populations in the wild, correlating those to reptile and amphibian species that are currently in the exotic pet trade on a global scale, not just the UK. There's absolutely no point just doing the UK. You've got to think worldwide with these sorts of things. And then what we're going to do is look at those species in the trade and their status in the wild and see if there's any sort of correlation to population decline or increase in there. Now, we've got a pretty good idea of what it's going to show us with some species, but not with others. And, you guys that support me will know my view of the exotic pet trade, but I've got to approach this with an open mind. I've got to be a professional. It might not actually prove what I think it's going to prove, even though at the moment I'm pretty sure that it will sort of prove my point. It might not do, but I've got to approach this clinically and as a scientist. And it's going to be very exciting to see how this pans out and to see where it leads. It really will, and I look forward to sharing this journey with you. I never thought in a million years that I would even get a degree, never mind that I would be chosen as a PhD candidate. I never thought I would get a doctorate. This is the person who at school was told that she'd never amount to anything, literally. I never ever thought that I could do this. And all I can do is thank my family, my friends, and the staff at the university for being so supportive and so encouraging. I am what I am because of you guys. You're amazing. So thank you so much. Right, regular news. The admissions requests keep on coming. Let me get the book. This is the book that we record all of the incomings and outgoings in. We've got a file as well that we keep everything in. Since last week, oh blimey, we've had yet another corn snake that unfortunately we couldn't take. That one was in horrendous circumstances. It was miles away as well. Like as in far too far away. We do not exclude admissions based on distance, but when there's another rescue 10 minutes away from where this animal lives that is capable of taking it, and we are 3 or 4 hours away, it makes sense for it to go to the other one. So yeah, so that one had to be referred on. A terrapin found in the road, not been hit by a car, thankfully. That one went through to the RSPCA because we just still don't have facility for turtles and terrapins. Not while we're in this building, we certainly don't. And only today we had a very bizarre inquiry. This is how inquiries come to us sometimes. It was just a one line, not even a sentence. Bosque monitor needs rehoming, must collect from. What does that tell me? I don't know. So again, that one was quite a long way away as well. So we have said, you do realise this one 10 minutes down the road from you, and I'm like 2 hours away. So we're doing what we can to help them. But while I'm on that point, oh, communication is such a problem. Now, I'm not always the best at communicating. I'll admit that. I have a dodgy accent. And I have a habit of swearing, although I've been very good so far. I'm not sworn in any of these so far. I've been very, very good. But please, guys, please, and I mean this so sincerely, when you write to me, it's different when you're on the phone. It's totally different when you're on the phone. But when you write to me, when you send me an email asking me to take in your animal, will you please give me a little bit more information to go on? Give me as much information as you can, without giving me your life history and your cat's mother's maiden name, but I need to know what species the animal is. We have had inquiries just for lizard, and when asked, the person has said, oh yes, I've had it for 5 or 10 years. And they don't know what it is. We need to know what species it is. We need to know how long it is. We need to know, if possible, what sex it is. Because, for instance, if it's a baby, and say it's something like a Burmese python, females can get a heck of a lot bigger. So we need to know, so we can plan ahead and we know the best service to provide you with, or whether we need to refer you elsewhere. We need to know if it has any injuries or health problems. Now, this does not in any way affect your offer of a place, and I think this is why people don't mention it, but it gives us a heads up. If we know that you're turning up in a hurry because you've got an animal that's got a leg dangling off, or you've got a bearded dragon that's not eaten for a fortnight or something, we can ring our vet immediately, get an appointment, either pick your animal up or accept it into our care, and then go straight there and get it treated. Whereas if you just turn up on the doorstep, or you don't tell us, and then we're left second guessing, and we don't know what's going on, and we can't tell our vet anything, and then we probably have to pay out a fortune for diagnostic tests, x-rays, bloods, fecal samples, and all this other stuff that we might not have had to have done otherwise. It really helps us. We don't judge people here. I mean, my word, I have been to some horrendous circumstances where, I'm sure I've said this before, where it's just as much about helping the person as it is the animal. And you have to go in and be professional and not judge people. You can't. We're all human. We make mistakes. Excuse the language, but shit happens. Stuff goes wrong. I'm not there to make it worse. I'm there to make it better. But I need your help. So please, 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 guys, please give me a bit more information to go on, because otherwise I am just going to either ring you and say, what on earth are you on about, or write back and say the same thing and say, please, can you give me some more information? Related to this is when somebody fills in the form on our website, on our adoptions page, to adopt an animal. I tried putting this form on to make it easier. Previous to that, people just needed to give me a ring or send me just a generic email to say, hello, I'm interested in bearded dragon, whatever, can I be considered? Whereas now, to make it easier, because I used to have to send back all the stock questions, have you had them before? Do you know what they eat? What are you going to keep it in? Blah, blah, blah. So now we've got this little web form, very, very simple, and it's got all the basic questions on that any other rescue, whether it's the Cats Protection League, the Dogs Trust, the RSPCA, whatever, would ask. It's really basic, boring stuff like, how old are you? What's your name? Where do you live? you know, is this animal being adopted for a child? Do you have other animals in the house? Have you kept exotics before? And how do you tend to house the animal, and how are you going to feed it? When you fill out that form, please can you put more than, under the housing question, Viv and light, because I will write back to you and ask you the specifics of your vivarium and your lighting and heating setup, because I have to know. I have to know, or I cannot make a pertinent decision as to whether you're the right person for this animal. I am more than willing to advise people on the correct housing of their animals, as well as the correct husbandry and nutrition that you have to provide them. I do not discriminate against first-time owners. I've had many first-time owners that I've adopted to and that I still support. But please give me a clue. And if you don't know the answer to something, just put that. Just put, I don't know. Can you help me? And I'll help you. That's the point. But yeah, I've spent a lot of time since we put the available animals up recently on the website. I've spent a lot of time just writing back to people and saying, please, can you provide me a bit more information? You know, I kind of did it so it saved time, but it hasn't really. It's stayed the same. Speaking of which, we do currently have 3 animals available for adoption. We have Wade, the Brazilian rainbow boa. We have Vanessa, the royal python, and Phoenix, the bearded dragon. I really want to get these guys into new homes soon. All of them do have quite specific needs. All their information is on our website, which is www.gracesrest.co.uk/adoption, and I'll bung a link in the description below so you can just give it a click and go straight there. These guys, I would prefer to go to people that have got experience in these species first, because of the way they are. Vanessa can be quite distrusting at times. She's never struck at me, but she can be quite vocal. She's quite particular in her eating habits. If you get it right, she'll eat every time, no problem. But you have to do it specific to the way she likes it. Most notably the time of day. She needs feeding as close to dark as possible, if not in the dark. She does not, which is what they would do naturally in the wild environment. She doesn't like being fed in the daytime. If you try and feed her in the daytime, she'll ignore it. If you leave it in there, she'll still ignore it. And then by the time it's evening, the food's spoiled. You know, it's just not right. Wade is only a baby. I think, without getting the file out, he's coming up to a year old now. So he's only about 2.5 foot long. He's growing really, really quickly. Now he's in an environment where he feels safe. He's in a heavily enriched, live planted enclosure at the moment. He's being handled sporadically but regularly, if that makes sense. Like, not every day. We've been very gentle with him. To get him handleable. He's getting there. The progress he's made is absolutely phenomenal. In the couple of months that we've had him, he's just come along leaps and bounds. He really, really has. But he needs somebody that understands this species, that has had them before or has worked with them before, so they can continue this gentle habituation process to human contact. Because if we don't do it, you know, he's going to end up to be 6 foot long and have a hooligan's attitude, and you're never going to be able to get near him, and it's going to be dangerous to work with him. But for this reason, I really don't think that he's suitable for a beginner. And also, Brazilians, their husbandry is quite intense, so it's not really something that I would recommend for a beginner to have. Phoenix, the same. You know, she's purely because she's a little bit skittish. I would just prefer somebody that's had bearded dragons before to have her. And preferably none of these animals are to go to homes with children, because they have got a little bit of a personality quirk. Wade has still got, well, they've all got the potential to bite, but Wade is always on that fine knife edge between, am I going to bite you or am I not? Vanessa can be a grumpy little moo, and obviously she's a powerful snake. She's not got a big mouth, but royal pythons are big, muscly creatures, you know, and she'd frighten a child, you know, really frighten a child and hurt them if she bit them. Phoenix, I don't think would bite anybody, but she is very skittish, and she can like shoot off like a little rocket, you know, if she's startled by something, and that wouldn't hurt a child, but it frightened them. So yeah, I personally don't feel, especially young children, older children or teenagers maybe, but definitely not young children, not at all. But I'm hoping that we will get some serious interest in them soon. As I say, there will be a link in the description below. Go and have a look at their photos, have a look at their details, fill in the form if you're interested, and I'll get in touch with you. Other than that, it's all been about preparing for upcoming events. A week on Saturday, we will be in Lincoln on the Brayford waterfront for Lincoln Pride. We were absent last year, so we'll be back with a vengeance this year. We're really looking forward to it. I have gone all out with the Pride stuff. We've got a big rainbow flag. We've got little rainbow flags to wave. I've got some bunting that hasn't arrived yet. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. As long as the weather is sunny, it's going to be a fantastic day. It's always such a great laugh. Everybody's just there to celebrate and be happy and have a drink and have a laugh, and yeah, it'll be really, really, really good. It'll be interesting to see how we go down this time, because last time, if I've got my dates right, I think it was the last time ever that we took the animals out with us. There may have been one other date after that, I think in the November. But this was the last like big public event that we ever took the animals to, and it was after this that I finally sort of got the guts to say to the Prince's Trust, who had helped me set up Gracie's Rest, that I wasn't doing this anymore. I didn't want to do it. I never did want to do it at all. I never felt that it was right to put these animals in this position, you know, where people are going to be stroking them and touching them and annoying them all day. But you know, when you're inexperienced in these things, you can't do what you're told, and it's a pretty poor excuse, but that's the way it happened. And obviously since then we've got a lot braver about being open about what we want to achieve with Gracie's Rest, the changes that we want to see in the exotic pet trade and the wildlife industry in general. So it's going to be interesting to see how we go down. But we've got a lot of friends in Lincoln. We've got a very loyal following. And I think either way, it's going to be a great day. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Really, really, really good. So I better sign off and let you get on with it. I've just realised I completely forgot to show you something.